Good morning, student. I am Bhatti Samina, the teacher of Sri Sahajanan English Medium School, Nathej at Ona. Today I am taking history, standard of 6. Now, we have to start the first chapter. The name of the chapter is Sources of History. This chapter have to belong about history. We are the reach of the history of Indian culture. Today, the first lesson, name of the lesson, sources of history. First, we want to know what the means of source. Source, you have to read in the previous classes, means of source. You heard sources of energy, sources of water. So you know what the means of source. If we have to ask sources of water, so you immediately in your mind have come pond, river, well, step well, etc. If we have say the sources of energy, immediately came the sunlight, electric light. This is the sources of energy. Now, this type of the sources of history also we want to know the source. Source means where someone or a something came from. That means whatever you also consume, that means of source. So history, how the history makes with the source, one history is made. In the ancient time, lots of things have to describe in our Indian history. So sources of history. Sources of the history make, how can they make? It's a make by the throwing of the painting, stamp, idols, shells, utensils, visuals, various tools, old buildings, temples, forts, stepwells. They have to recognize that is a sources of history. Now, what the means of the history? The history means if you see in the your reader, they have some pictures are situated in your textbook. They are showing about paintings, stamps, idols, shells, utensils, visuals, or various other tools also situated in your textbook. Now, we have to necessary a knowledge about the past. How can we understand? We can understand by 1,000 of the years, ancient buildings, forts, temple, etc. We have to be a no. So that is the introduction about the sources of history. Now, in this lesson, we have to learn in the ancient time how can we know the knowledge about the ancient peoples, what they have to done on the ancient time. So, that time the paper, pen, that is not available. Students, we have to careful and hear. If you have any doubt, whenever our school reopen, we will be solve this matter. So please, you have to be heard carefully. This all information we have to collected by the articles, photographs, painting, history information. Maybe possible we have to see in your town and in your village also the various old temples and another a history behind of the anythings. Maybe possible you have to hear about in your town and city also something is situated in your town. It's a previous in the ancient times the behind of that history. Okay, now that is we have to show about the photographs, coins, stamps. They all things have to be a proof on that time the people how can the people living life hold, how can the peoples are using on that time which they want to provide. It's it's everything we have to situate it into archives otherwise in the museum. So in our Gujarat have these things in the Gujarat we have to know about the museums or libraries. In the Gujarat have a four museums situated in Gujarat. They are Shri Hemchandra Library in Patan, LD Institution of the Ideology, Navrangpur in Ahmedabad, Terrible Museum in Gujarat, Vidyapat in Ahmedabad, Mahavir Jain Aradhana Kendra in Gandhinagar. So this is a libraries. They have to be situated. Some paintings, return the works, everything have to situated is there. And in the museum, whenever we have to visit in the museum, we see in some vessels, utensils, a top, pots and another whatever they have to wearing, how they are using toys, stamps, the other things have to situated in the museum, so we have know how that peoples have to using these things. So this is the introduction, a like this lesson. Now we will be start the chapter on what is situated in the lesson. You will be learn by now, it's what is the means of the Millennium Gallery? So now the given this small introduction about the Millennium Gallery is in the December 2000. Most of the newspaper had to publish various articles with the photographs on the incidents in an event of the 20th century which become a famous as a Millennium Gallery that is situated into the libraries. I was told to you four libraries are famous in our Gujarat. I've already given the name of the libraries. So that is a situated in there. And if you have to be taken the old newspaper, so you are making a various information about in that newspaper. In the incidents of the in the incident and the personalities of the 20th century from the articles and the photographs seen, the history is a very ancient in our India. Our India have an ancient reach about the history. We have to be a people, how the people are eating, how the people are wearing, how can they have to be a living life hold, what they are using, which activities are they done, everything whatever they're in the daily life, it's we have to inform about the history. So that is a given the we, that is a given by the articles or a library and the whatever we have to be a know about their tools. Now in this lesson we have to take a small information about Tatpatra and the Bodhpatra. Now we have say whatever written we have that we know what the history. But how can they written on that time? The papers and the books and pencil eraser, they are not situated. Everyone know because that is started by the previous 200 years ago. So they write everything off onto the bark of the tree. Bark of the tree means whenever we have to see the tree, the upper part of the tree, the inner part of upper part they have to remove and the inner part they have to be used like a paper and write onto on it the on it. That is called Tatpatra. Now I given again the information about the Tatpatra. What the means of the Tatpatra? During ancient times, the volume of the articles means whatever done of on that time, they written on the bark of a palm tree. They are written the bark of the palm trees. Means in the tree inner part they have removed and write whatever happened on it on that time. They are written on the bark of the tree, palm of the bark of the tree. That returns work told the Tadpatra. Did you understand? You have to clear what the means of Tadpatra. If you are not clear, I repeat again. If on the during of the ancient time, the volume of the articles means what happened on that time, they are writing on the bark of the palm tree. This kind written is called a Tatpatra and Bhojpatra. Now we have to given the information about the Bhoj. Now, Bhojpatra, a special type of the name of Bhoj. That name of tree is a Bhoj. They are not founding everywhere. It's a situated in the Himalaya mountain. That tree, it's also a tree, the bark of the tree, but that is a special. It's a situated in the Himalayas. So during the ancient time, whatever the volumes or articles written of its bark, its kind of the written is a Bhojpatra. Now Tatpatra and the Bhojpatra both are clear. We have to say in everything is written in the Tatpatra and Bhojpatra. Both are the bark of the trees. One is a palm tree. Tatpatra is a situated from the palm tree. So that is a Tatpatra, and Bhojpatra is a taken by the Bhoj tree. It's situated only in Himalaya. That is called a Bhojpatra. Now, what do written in the Tatpatra and Bhojpatra? You have to hear about the Pandavas, whatever the history is situated about the Pandavas. So that everything is written on these two things in Tatpatra and Bhodpatra. We have to pass through various sources by the Tatpatra and the Bhodpatra. Manuscription written mostly by the Pandavas. Bhojpatra made by the skin of name of Bhoj. I told you Bhoj tree is from Himalaya. So, although most of Pandavas, whatever written on that paper, but that is a too much far away time. So, it's not possible they have to situate it. Now they are destroyed by the insects because that is a part of tree and the insects are on the tree. So, the insects are destroyed that bark of the cutting of the bark of the trees, the insects are destroyed. So we want to preserve this. So how can we preserve? So sometime you will see in the temple we have to putting Ramayana, Mahabharat. So this type of the Bhojpatra and the Tatpatra are situated in the famous temples. They have to be secure for the temples, viharas, libraries, and the government museums. They are situated now also because it's too much previous, but now they are situated by this called as sources. We have to given the more informations in the Bhojpatra and the Tatpatra about the kings, administrations, public life, how the public life is situated in the ancient time, also situated in the Tatpatra and the Bhojpatra. This is a kind of the preservation previous ancient times information. Now this is a two type you can understood. How can we know everything by the ancient time? And the second is we have to inscription in the stone also. How can we write in the stones? That is a inscription whatever write in the stone, that is not a small stone but it is a huge stone, like a small mountains, a huge rock, they whatever written, it's a called a stone inscription. I was told whatever writing in the bark they we are told the Tatpatra and the Bhodpatra. Now the another thing written in the stone also, that means a huge rock, a huge stone, whatever writing. Sometimes you have to using sharp things and you have to be given the in the wall some writing a b c, this type also they have to writing on the stone a previous ancient time what happened, what they are using. By the painting, by the written work we know what they are using and how they are interested, which animals their favorite animals, how the people's live life hold, how the rich peoples are living style, how the poor peoples are living style, what they are doing in the whole day, everything they have writing, it's called the inscription. So stone inscriptions also are situated in our country. Now I say into in our country. So did you know there's a stone inscription are situated in our Junagadh also? In the Ashok time also, whatever the Ashok had done in their life, whatever happened in his life, everything he was writing on the Tajpatra and onto the stone inscriptions. Later on in the next lesson, whenever the Ashok's inscription, Ashoka the Great will come, that is information also coming in the detail. In the ancient times, we are saying again and again in the ancient time. That is a history because ancient time. Did you know now what the means of ancient time? Means a previous lots of years ago what happened. That's called a ancient time. Okay. In the ancient time, main incidents like a achievement of the king, what the king is done, the king is doing something is good for the peoples. He was doing these things for their kingdom. The on that these kings peoples are living happy life. They are what the kings have to given the opportunity of this peoples. The everything is ancient time we have to return by the orders in the credits with other states in the which other another states are there on that time. So what happened on that state, which king is doing for his state, what they are making, what they have doing for their peoples, everything is in the writing in the stone or a metal place. I have given the information about inscription, stone inscription, that I was told a huge stone or a huge rock, they are writing everything, that is called a inscription. So two type of the inscription are there. One is a stone or another is a metal plate. Whatever they are writing in the metal plate is called inscription. So that is a today it's a preserved in the archive, such as a National Archive of Delhi. But this is a preserve because the insects are not eaten for the metal. Metal is one metallic metal. So that is not possible. The insects are eating. So that is a preserve now in the National Archive of Delhi. What the means of the archive? I told you National Archive of Delhi. That means each metals plates are situated now. So you can know what the means of the archive. So I will given the details of the archive. Okay. I was told that is situated in the National Archive of Delhi. What the means of the archive? Beta, where the place, the inscriptions, copper plate or a stone, everything have to be a preserved, protect, prepared by the ancient king of India, preserved as their place is called archive. Now, visuals and ornaments and tools and other things we will be a no. Visuals. What is the means of the visuals? Which type of the utensils they are using? Which type of they have to making the cook food, or they have to be a preserve the food, preserve the grains, and what the ornaments they have to using on that time. We heard and now the ornaments every people want to be required in this time also. So that time also the peoples are wearing the ornaments. Which type of the ornaments they are wearing? Sometimes they have to make a shield and this type of. Okay, now the tools they are using the tools. We also using the tools. So we know. So nails, screwdriver we are using. So that time that is not possible, they are making the metal tools. So they are using the tools by the stone and the bones of the animals. They have to make the sharp stone and they're making the hammer and whatever. So that tools are using by the ancient times. They use by the stone, otherwise the bones of the animals. Now, this lesson during the excavations, utensils, stone tools. I was told tools, two type of the tools. First is the stone tools and the second type of the tools are bones of the animals. They are sharpening and make the tools. ornaments are found which help us to history of the ancient time. It's everything have to be a combined, and we have the thought what happened on that time, how can they are using, how can they are living life hold, that everything, every information by these things means tools, ornaments, utensils, whatever. Now these all have to the residents will be just archaeologists found these things in the ancient times, how the old coins, stone inscription, painting, metal plates, everything they have to be collected, and they know what happened on that time. I told these things have to be a archaeologist found. What the means of the archaeologist? The history, the peoples, those who are learn most history, and they have given the information about the history, that peoples called the archaeologists. Now this lesson may be a small and it's a overview, so I will explain one by one a many steps so you can hear carefully. First, I was told to about the sources of history. So you can understood what the means of the sources of history means. Lots of things have to combine: the documents, painting, ornaments, coins, toys, inscriptions, bodhpatra, tatpatra, metal plates, old buildings, temples, forts, stepwells, lots of things that is given the informations that is called the sources of history. I told about the four type of the things that we know about the previous time is happened. First is a Bhojpatra and Tatpatra, that is written onto the bark of the trees, and the third is the stone inscriptions and the copper plate inscription, those whose stone inscription written onto the stone, and the copper plates inscription written onto the copper plate, that is made by the carbon. Okay, and the archives, the place with the history records are situated. So beta, this lesson is over, and it is a very interesting lesson. If you are living in your village, your city, your town, so whatever in the old buildings, old well, and whatever is there, so you have to take in the collection and taken the information about it. So our lesson was completed. Beta, you stay at your home and be healthy. And the next chapter we will given after a later on. So you have to prepare this lesson. Thank you very much.